Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good morning! How about some Dragon drama to start our show? Last night, NSIC first round, Sam Hondel, late for MSUM, gives the Dragons a 2-point lead. MSUM makes a stand defensively, and the Dragon men hang on. They beat Northern State 66-64 to move on to Sioux Falls. They were only outdone by the Dragon women, also playing in Aberdeen late in the game. Abby Berge in overtime misses. There's Taryn Johnson to clean up. The Pride of Kindred to give MSUM the lead. Northern State answers and ties the game at 67. Now, under 8 seconds to go. Grace Massacoy driving to the basket. She's fouled, and she has to go to the line. She makes the first free throw. That gives the Dragons a 1-point lead. Again, just 2 seconds to go in the game. Massacoy, who started her collegiate career at NDSCS, played briefly for the Bison, transferred, has spent the last year and a half at MSUM. This to make it a 2-point lead. Misses that. Northern gets the rebound, but not enough time, and the Dragons hang on and win it, and they are moving on to Sioux Falls. And that's how our show begins here on a Thursday morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hot Mic here on a beautiful Thursday morning and an exciting one. It is a state tournament day. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. Great to be with everybody here on this third to last day of the month, and congratulations to both Jason Kemp and Carla Nelson. Their team is still playing. They're both heading down to Sioux Falls now as the NSIC tournament final 8 will begin with the quarterfinals coming up on Saturday. Both Dragon teams actually play on Saturday. They're still alive. That's all that matters. And winning on the road to end another team season. That's some pretty good stuff there. So congratulations to both of them for picking up wins. And we'll get our full NSIC tournament preview tomorrow to get us ready at the Pentagon. That's the real kickoff for March. The tournament starts in February, and it ends in March, and it's a tremendous event. The Dragon men have had some unbelievable success down there. We also know the Mankato women are unbeaten. They are the behemoths in all of Division II basketball, potentially trying to win a second title in 3 years. So more on that coming up on the show tomorrow. With that, we say good morning and welcome to a really busy Thursday. We're going to try and hit everything today, whether it be hockey, whether it be football, whether it be basketball. We're going to try and cover it all here on this Thursday and unpack what we saw last night. Congratulations are in order to the Moorhead Spuds. They are heading back to the state hockey tournament. The defending champs won the 8AA championship. We'll check in with Jon Ammerman here in just a little bit. After a successful night at Alexandria, I have to imagine a happy bus ride home. And now they get to sit and wait and see where they're seated. That will come out Saturday. The state hockey tournament begins a week from today. We'll still call it the XL Energy Center at Grand Casino Arena for the AA tournament. So that's coming up in just a little bit. We'll also get you ready for the NFL Combine. It begins today for you football nerds out there. The Bison, of course, will be well represented with 2 players this weekend with Cole Payton and Bryce Lance, both on the field on Saturday. We'll preview that coming up in just a little bit. Also, it's the opening day of the North Dakota State Hockey Tournament. We'll check in out at both Shields Arena, the Farmers Union Rink, to get us ready. We've got our engineers feverishly at work here. I can see, and I'm not by myself, nor is Eric down below here today with our coverage starting at 11 a.m. On WDAY2, and then the games on Extra here on this channel beginning in just under 3 hours' time. We'll get you ready for that coming up in just a little bit. But we cannot ignore the 8,000-pound elephant in the room, which was the game last night on the north side between North Dakota State and South Dakota State on the women's basketball side, where the Bison took a 23-game win streak into the matchup with the Jackrabbits last night. Already had a share of the league championship, and the number 1 seed wrapped up. but a chance to win it outright and a chance to really maybe send a message to the rest of the league that this is their time. This is now their league and not South Dakota State. Meanwhile, the Jackrabbits came in winners of 5 in a row, trending in this direction, knowing full well if they're able to get a win and then knowing the tournament where it is in Sioux Falls that everything could go in their momentum. That was the backstory for the game last night at Shields Arena. A record crowd of over 3,700 were in attendance last night, and they got to see Brooklyn Meyer do her jam in the first half. She had 12 early points for South Dakota State. They took an 8-point halftime lead. They got to see Maddie Mathowitz, the senior from Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, go crazy. Jacks built a 10-point lead in the second half. Carrington Asp goes up and under. The Bison just looked sluggish. They looked flat the entire game last night. Asp scores there to get it to 8. Jossie Schilder just throws one at the basket. That was her first made basket of the game. Cut it to 6. Bison force a turnover here. Marissa Frost drives and scores. Again, SDSU had the Bison at arm's length. It's 39-31. Avery Coonan's easy to say did not have her best night. Scores down low here. That got it to 6. Thought the crowd was going to get back into it. Instead, Mathowitz cans a 3. Jackrabbits go up by 11. Same score. Feed inside. Meyer, too easy. The Meyer-Mathowitz combination was lethal for SDSU last night. Look at this pull-up jumper. Mathowitz has just steadily gotten better during her entire Jackrabbit career. The lead pushed to 12. Here, Bison turned it over. They had way too many of those last night. Mathowitz in transition finishes. That put the lead at 14. The first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter won the game for SDSU. There's another turnover. Stripped from Carrington Asp. An easy lay-in there for Hadley Toole. That pushed the lead up to 16. Jory Collins called timeout after that. And out of the timeout, what does Mathowitz do? Can a 3. At that point, SDSU is up 19. They held NDSU to 44 points last night. South Dakota State dominates and beats the Bison 59-44 the final. The Jackrabbits snap the 23-game win streak of North Dakota State emphatically. Mathowitz and Meyer combined for 41 of SDSU's 59. I'll say this, the Jacks didn't necessarily play outrageously great basketball until the fourth quarter. I thought SDSU was really good in the fourth. Mathowitz I thought was great all night. But the Bison, you're not going to beat anybody scoring 44 points. They turned the basketball over as well 18 times. 15 of 48 from the field last night to the tune of 31%. As SDSU gets the season split, prevents the Bison from winning it outright. Afterwards, some interesting emotions from both squads.
I'm not mad about how we played. I just know that wasn't our team. So I'm frustrated for our fans more than I am for our own kids and how we just played there. But I know that's not who we are as a basketball team, or not even close. I hope we can recover in the next day or next 48 hours, because we're going to have to play a lot better than that on Saturday to win also. So right now it's just about how good can we get to feeling by Saturday at 1.
They came ready to play right away, and I think we could all kind of feel that, and we maybe just didn't match that tonight. And, you know, it is what it is, and you do have to learn from it and move on. And maybe it's going to be good for our group to kind of experience that, especially going into next week, as long as we do learn from it and move forward.
I would say that loss on our home court, that was a tough one. It really gets you, and I thought we came out after that with a new determination, and I thought tonight we came out and showed that.
AJ, describe that about the loss in January of coming back. Did it seem personal for the team tonight to come up here and play?
Yeah. I can't 100% say more personal than our team felt last year. I mean, I feel like this is a rivalry game. We're going to take them all pretty personally. Saturday will be personal for us. I'm sure it'll be personal here for those teams. You know, our senior group is really good. Ellie, Brooklyn, and Maddie. I don't know what their combined winning record is in the Summit League, but it's phenomenal. I probably should know it. I'll look it up. But it's been phenomenal. And you saw Brooklyn and Maddie today. Those two are playing as well as any players in the conference here in the last few weeks.
By the way, Megan Glover, SDSU's SID, gave us the stat right after AJ was done. 63-2. 63-2 is the record of Ellie Colbeck from Fergus Falls, Maddie Mathowitz, and Brooklyn Meyer, the seniors in the Summit League. So here are the up-to-date standings as you wake up this morning. Bison now with a one-game lead on SDSU. Bison, as we mentioned, have number one locked up. The outright championship, though, is still up for grabs. If the Bison beat UND Saturday, they will take the outright championship. If UND were to beat NDSU and the Jackrabbits beat South Dakota, then it's a share of the championship. Now, the 2 seed is up for grabs Saturday in Brookings. Whoever wins between SDSU and USD will have the 2 seed in Sioux Falls. Remember, South Dakota beat South Dakota State in Vermillion in late January. If the Jacks play like that last night, South Dakota's not going to win that game. St. Thomas at the 4 spot. I'm going to get to Oral Roberts in a second. Oral Roberts lost to Omaha, and I said it on the air, and I needed to take a second look at it. Wait till you hear the stat line in that game in just a second. Denver in 6th. Kansas City has wrapped up the regular season. The Roos are in 7th. UND lost last night to USD. Of course, we'll see the Fighting Hawks here on Saturday. And then Omaha. So real quick, before we go to the men's standings, Omaha beat Oral Roberts last night, 84-75. Innocuous, but Oral Roberts, you see where they are in the standings. Omaha did not have a Division I win until late January when they beat UND. They've now won 3 league games. The stat line last night, this just came out, and I have to say this to process it. Last night, Omaha women's basketball became the only NBA, WNBA, Division I men's or women's team in the last 15 years to have a player with 40 or more points, another player with 30 or more points, and another player with 20 or more rebounds, all in the same game. Player with 40, player with 30, rebound with 20. Listen to the stat line last night. Again, 84-75, the final. Regan Juneman off the bench, freshman. She's a good player. 40 points in 30 minutes. Had 7 threes for Omaha last night. Sarai Estupinian scored 30 at 8 of 16 from the field. And Avril Smith, who's a really good young player, freshman, she didn't score, but she had 23 rebounds against Oral Roberts in their victory last night. Remarkable stat line for the Mavericks to win that game against Oral Roberts. So, again, Omaha UND likely going to be in that 8-9 matchup. Whoever wins that will face NDSU a week from today in Sioux Falls. But, I mean, there's a lot of ways we can go for this, and I'm going to save a little bit more for our second hour on it. Got a couple emails in. I want to read. Let's read them now. We got time. Dom, after about 1 or 2 minutes of the game, I blurted out, they look so uncomfortable. I'm not sure if it was because it was such a big game, the big crowd, the pressure of the winning streak, but the Bison women seemed like a deer in headlights from the tip-off to the finish. SDSU played fantastic defense. NDSU never adjusted. Bingo. I'm totally on that. I thought they were flustered. I thought they looked flat. Jory Collins said afterwards, and we'll have him on today, said they weren't tight. Obviously, they were dealing with an illness. You could hear it in Avery Coonan's voice there that's going through the team. And Jory said it just hopefully they can recover to look better in 48 hours. Regardless of that, they just didn't have any juice last night. And this emailer's right on. I thought 2 minutes in, I don't recognize this team. And Jory Collins said that as well. I think he said that to Sam in the post-game interview. Dom, just a few uncharacteristic games from NDSU women's basketball last night, especially in front of a record crowd they haven't seen almost ever. Tough to play while several players are under the weather. Any word who was sick last night? What's the likelihood of Jory holding this whole team together for next season? Who do the Jacks lose to graduation after this year? Well, they lose Meyer and Mathowitz. That's their 2 studs. But it's not like, don't feel sorry for AJ. They've got a lot of really, really good young players. And we talked about during the broadcast that Katie Vasika, who's one of their outstanding young players, is out with injury. She won't play the rest of the year. SDSU's going this way, folks. And I'm telling you now, that is, if it ends up coming to pass where it's the Bison and the Jacks in the Summer League Championship game, that's going to be an incredibly difficult environment for the Bison to win in. We saw it 2 years ago down there. I would anticipate it be the same. That's going to be a 10,000 fans there cheering for SDSU. That'll be a true road game for the Bison if they're going to try and pull it out. But they got bigger fish to fry here. They want to get healthy after what happened last night. And I don't know specifically who's under the weather. Just know that it was at least 3 or 4 of them that were not feeling well. That takes away what SDSU did. And I don't want to do that. SDSU was great last night, especially in the fourth quarter. Defensively, they were on task all night. Offensively, I thought they sputtered as well. I mean, they only had 25 points, and we're talking midway through the third quarter. But the Bison just completely couldn't do anything offensively. And I thought crowd-wise, off the charts. Tip of the hat there. Tip of the hat to our guy, Derek Dinger, who bought 1,000 tickets to get people in. It was electric in there. And it's too bad that the game did not deliver on that, because that was a great environment last night. More on that coming up later on in the show. We got a pack one here on this Thursday. We got to get it started. Our guest lineup brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. In a couple minutes, we'll visit with our guy Jon Ammerman, head coach of the Moorhead boys hockey team. The Spuds are back off the state after a win last night in Alexandria. We'll recap that with Jon coming up in just a couple minutes. Carlton Lance will join us at 9:35. Both Trey and Bryce's dad. He's getting set for a trip to Indianapolis to go watch Bryce at the NFL Combine. We'll get an update on what Bryce has been up to here over the last few months since the Bison season ended. That's coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, our guy Sam Goetzinger will be here in studio quickly before he has to get out to Shields Arena to call 4 hockey games today. We'll chat with Sam about the upcoming state hockey tournament. And at 10:35, Jory Collins will join us as well to unpack what happened last night and look ahead to the game on Saturday, the regular season finale for NDSU against North Dakota. That's coming up when we wrap up the show. So, a lot to get to here on a busy Thursday. We come back, we'll celebrate another championship for the Moorhead Spuds. That's coming up when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. A scene that never gets old. The Moorhead Spuds celebrating a section championship last night in Alexandria as they knocked off Elk River Zimmerman to win the 8AA championship, and they're heading back to state. The defending state champions. Love saying that. Our guy Jon Ammerman joins us bright and early right after a section championship win. Head coach of the Moorhead Spuds as they'll go back. The state hockey tournament begins a week from today. I could still call it XL Energy Center. I know it's Grand Casino Arena. Great to see you, bud. Congratulations. We were visiting off air a shorter trip, so that meant you got home a bit earlier than last night, right?
Yeah, everyone is a little bit longer, whether you win or lose, just because after the game you're either celebrating or not. But being closer was nice. We got home at about midnight, which on that night is a little early for us. So all good. It was a fun night.
Describe how the team played last night. That you've been in so many of these games. That's to me, I feel is the hardest game to win because it's the game to get you there. How did you feel like the team? Obviously, they played very well, but mentality-wise, heading into last night.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on the toughest one to win. For a lot of these kids and families, for that matter, it is the one game standing in the way of a lifelong dream for a lot of these kids. Our seniors have been playing hockey for 12 to 13 plus years, and that's a lot of road trips and a lot of time spent at the rink and preparing for games. So it's kind of that one final hurdle for a lot of people. And there's obviously anticipation and all that building up towards it. But this season overall, our team came in with a bunch of firepower. I think that, that is pretty well documented. A lot of guys returning offensively, extremely dynamic. And at the beginning of the year, we were really good, a lot of enthusiasm. And towards the middle to end, there was a lack of detail in a lot of areas. And I think our kids are aware of it, or we're aware of it, but the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've really been impressed. And I think last night was a nice exclamation point for that. We obviously, it's been a quick turnaround, so haven't watched video, but will today. And coming out of the rink, we were really happy with how hard we played. some pretty high level goals in that. I think we don't expect, but it's not a surprise with some of the players we have, but really impressed with the grit. That's something we did lack in the middle. And it's been a nice improvement. Will Arnold played phenomenal in that. I don't know, there were a couple of shaky moments and he was a calm in there. And then, just walking away from the rink, we're really happy with the effort.
You mentioned a couple highlight reel goals. The first one from Brandon Mickelson. We got the highlights of this. How did it's a total backhand. It goes in the net. Like, that's a phenomenal goal.
Yeah. And he came back to the bench and didn't even know. He kind of was, not stumbling, but off balance, and he threw it at the net, and just a great play. And then a shift later, Zach Zimmerman rips a puck low and beats the goalie. And then a couple minutes later, Jory Collins. I actually, from my vantage point, thought that it was a different goal. But watching video, just an impressive release and great shot. And then we come out in the first shift of the second period, and it's just an outstanding play by Tyden, Evan, and Max. Just a lot of high-level plays. And those are the ones that you see on video, and I'm sure in the background there's highlights or wherever it is. But, the plays to win games, just the mundane, we were really impressed with too.
Scoring first in a game like that, how much does that ease the pressure? You've been in so many of those, but drawing first blood, how big a deal is that?
Oh, no question. And, that in that lull that I talked about the second half of the year, it seemed like we were chasing every single game, and that's just a different way to play. Retrospect, maybe that was a good thing. So our guys know and are comfortable with that, but it's a completely different dynamic when you're playing with the lead. And especially when a multiple goal lead. I know everybody says 2-goal lead is the worst lead, but we would take that over a 1-goal lead any day. And I thought, especially with that back-to-back shift in the first period, 2 great plays. We're up by 2 now. We just kind of eased into it, and it was from then on, it was a really good performance.
All right, this is a simplistic question. I'll have to ask anyway. Was it a loud bus ride home? Was it a workman-like bus ride home? Like, hey, we expected to go down there and dominate. What was it like on the way back home last night?
You know what? That's a great question, actually, because I'm not taking anything. Every year is a little different, just with the emotion and we have kind of a loose team. Like, they like to have fun, and they're not exactly the most overly serious, but the feeling going into the game was much different. And the feeling coming out in the back last year, they brought a speaker on the bus, and it was wild at times, and all in good fun, right? Yeah. But this year, I think Workman or whatever the expectation was is probably better. After about 45 minutes, they did put on some music, but it was kind of subdued. And there's a lot of guys that have some pretty high ambitions on this team, and I think that they were prepared, and it showed for sure.
Jon, how did this team handle throughout the year, and now you're heading back with the expectations of being the state champs? That hasn't happened before in Moorhead, that you've had to deal with that, and knowing everybody's best shot was coming. How do you feel the guys handled that?
I thought really well. And to be honest, outside of questions from outside, it hasn't really been discussed a whole lot. Our the core of our group is back, obviously, but there are some very talented complements that are in, and every year is just a little different. We're still, I know this sounds weird to say, but we're still kind of forming an identity of how we play. In just what that looks like. So I think that there's still more from this team. But I think they've handled it tremendously. There's no question that night in and night out, we've gotten best efforts from teams, even with it being a different group. But they've risen to the challenge most nights, and it's been a really fun year for sure.
Last thing for you, bud. So now, obviously, you wait to find out Saturday is the seeding process, and there are still other section championship games up for grabs. How do you pay attention to this? You say, you know what, we'll find out Saturday, and that's when we'll talk to the guys about it.
Oh, absolutely. We're tuned into it. This is obviously the state tournament is a different level, but this week is week and a half of the section tournament is one of the most fun times a year with all the things that are going on. And if you look at the different streams or social media, like just how many people are dialed into it. Tonight there's 3 more and then 1 on Friday. So we're paying attention. And now the work starts. So with us now advancing, our coaching staff will start to divvy up some responsibilities on the hockey side of things to get prepared and make sure that no rock is left unturned. And it starts tonight and starting to prep for it.
Is there a guarantee that the Spuds play at 8:30 next Thursday? Because that seems to happen.
Well, they just rearranged the order. So the sessions are 11, 1, 6, and 8. And it used to be where the number 2 seed played at 11, the number 1 seed played at 6, but they flipped that around. And it was a proposal from the Coaches Association in that if you're the number 2 seed, you play the early game both days, the early session. And the thought is that it doesn't make sense for the 2 seed to have more rest than the number 1 seed. And for the 2 seed to have set game times, because and those that follow, that second game a lot of times might be listed for 8, but sometimes it's 8 or 9 or whatever. So now it puts on both Thursday, Friday, the number 1 seed has a set game time. They have the most rest. You could say playing at 11 a.m. maybe is a disadvantage because you've never done that all year.
Right.
But I do applaud the State High School League in taking a proposal from the Coaches Association and trying it out. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back. But one thing that the State High School League occasionally gets, some grief on is that they're stuck in their old ways or old fashioned, and they're trying to make it a better experience. They're trying things. That's and we'll try it out this year. And right now I would guess we'd either play at, depending on results, we would play in the first game of one of the 2 sessions.
Okay.
Time will tell which one that is.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations on the win last night. We'll talk to you before we head down to St. Paul next week, okay?
All right, sounds great. Thanks, talking.
Jon Ammerman joining us. Congratulations to the Moorhead Spuds. They won the 8AA championship, and they'll find out who they play on Saturday is when the state hockey tournament bracket will be revealed. We'll break. We come back. We'll get our NFL Combine fix coming up. Carlton Lance will join us, Bryce's dad, as he gets set to hit the field on Saturday in Indianapolis. That's coming up when we return on Hot Mic after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic off and rolling. We'll check in at the state hockey tournament here in North Dakota. Coming up our next hour, Jory Collins also join us to unpack last night's Bison women's basketball game coming up in hour 2. We'll take a quick aside from the hockey and basketball talk, because football is always on the brains here, and especially it's NFL Combine Week for you draft nerds out there. It officially starts today with the defensive backs, which for our next guest, I'm sure he's going to perk up for that. But also, the Bison will be well represented again at the Combine with quarterback and wide receiver going on Saturday, Cole Payton and Bryce Lance. It's great to have Carlton Lance back with us here, the old DB himself. It's great to see you, bud. How you been?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Just kind of getting through these times here with Bryce, and it's as always, it's fun and exciting. So
describe, first off, if in your prime, let's do it. What would be your best 40? If you had to go do the 40 now, in your prime, what would you get? Tell us.
Well, there's two different ones. Anybody who's run, electronic and handheld. I would say handheld, I would be a high 4.4. I would do 4.5 pretty solid. 4.4, I would have to be, but it would be a high 4.4. Like I just dipped my toe in the 4.4.
4.49.
If I had to run it right now, we're looking at probably 6 something.
Just describe how this is a thing. I mean, there are hundreds of media going to be there. Their fans actually go to watch it. I mean, Just describe this whole process, and just as a dad now to observe it, like, well, this is, and basically it's a job interview that he's had all week.
Correct. And, I told him, that, it's changed so much now. One, that you can have fans there. I didn't even realize that we could go. Angie said, "Hey, where are we going?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" When I went there, it was just coaches and everything in stands, and how scientific it's gotten to the, for certain kids, if you're blessed enough to have an agency and stuff like that to go train, and how they've just really dialed it in, the training. I told my boys, I said, man, I was doing it like a caveman. I was running by myself and, to try to get in shape and, didn't know anything about anything scientific. So it's just awesome that it's changed and evolved the way it has. NFL does a great job of really promoting their brand. They just drip to you all the time. They market to you all the time.
No doubt.
It goes from combine to free agency and everything else. So, but no, this is just an awesome opportunity for our family and for Bryce himself.
Carlton, give us an update from the end of the season, what Bryce has been up to here over the last few months.
Yeah, so he has just been training, honestly. He was down in Thousand Oaks, Westlake, training at a proactive facility down there, and just, kind of dialing in his skill set, doing a little route running, doing, but, some more combine training, stuff like that. And I think it's going to go, from what I've understand, I'm not going to say anything, but I think he's going to do very well.
When you see this, obviously it's been basically training. It hasn't been for Bryce a whole lot of football stuff. And this week isn't football really either. How different is that? Because you don't practice to run a 40. You don't practice to jump high. That's the different part of like the last few months have been like, I imagine.
No, absolutely. It's just been, he said it when he first got there. He said, man, they're really dialed into my training. It's not like, 'cause you always, for at NDSU or any football program, you're dialed into a pro,
yes.
Hey, you're with all the DBs, you're with all the receivers, or hey, you're with this lifting group, and, you're squatting heavy and you're doing this, and, not necessarily things that are going to help your speed and run fast and jump high. So, but he's really dialed, he's really in with what I feel is a top-notch, area to train and people to train with. So that's very nice for him.
How much for you, prior to getting to Indy, from what he told you, and I'm sure that's probably limited because I know how kids try to talk to their parents, but how much info he told you about either meeting with NFL or his agent talking with teams about what could come down the line here in a couple months?
He's had, I think yesterday he didn't, again, it's your son, so he doesn't, he talks in code, so he talks for 10 seconds and you get, 2 seconds, 2 nuggets out of there. So, but he's had multiple meetings with multiple teams, formal and informal yesterday. I know he had, you can only have so many, just because time in the day. But, I think he had 3 formal ones, and then he said he didn't even tell how many informal ones he had. So, but yeah, I mean, it's all about, that's what it's about. It's a big job interview. So the more the merrier.
How excited are you? And you've done so many different things. This is different to watch because it's just you're focusing on him. I know when you watch the game, you're watching the game. How different this would be for you and Ange on Saturday, because this is unique.
You know what? It's so, when Trey played, he's quarterback, so it's like, your heart races here. Bryce is a receiver, so he needs a quarterback to get him the ball. Yep. So it's like, oh, you're just surprised. Oh, you got the ball. Oh, you got the ball. Oh, okay, that's nice. That's cool. Oh, that's what they worked on this week. But for this, we just know that, I think the questions out there for Bryce are, his speed, which I think he'll answer that in spades on this Saturday. I don't think that'll be a problem at all. And just athletic ability. So, and then that'll translate to, whatever else, route running and stuff like that. So,
well, the talk here, and you can take it for what it's worth from the NFL insiders, is that Bryce is right now trending as maybe the top FCS guy to come off the board or can have, really wow everybody at the combine. How much are you taking that in, or say, I'm not going to pay attention to this until it's over and done with?
Until it's over and done with. Yeah. we stay out of that, that realm as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
You're going to, it's our son. So absolutely, we're going to be, check here and there. But, for the most part, we stay off of that and don't read anything into that because, we know more than most that, things can change at the drop of a hat. So we just make sure that, we stay right there and Bryce stays there too. So, if he does what I think he can do out there, that'll lay to rest anything. So
I know we've talked in the past. Bryce has had a chance to ask Trey about almost virtually anything of what he's gone through. This is maybe the one time he can't because Trey didn't get a chance to go to the combine because obviously it was virtual. How different is that? Because I Trey did all the interview part, but it wasn't what Bryce is doing this week.
No, absolutely. The good thing is that they actually share the same agent, so it's the same agency and stuff like that. So he's done a phenomenal job of being able to walk Bryce through this and being around good people and who've been through it and understand what the training is going to look like and what it's going to look like. So yeah, for Trey, it's just his situation was so different,
so weird. Yep.
So yeah, it's so different. And we were just talking to him yesterday about. And he said something about Brevin Spanford. And we know Brevin because, he's with Dallas Cowboys, but we know him because Trey played against him. They came out the same year. And I was like, oh, Brevin's got to be in a contract year or something like that. And he said, no, I've been in the league 5 years. This is Brevin's second. I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot that, so just so different. But again, we're blessed.
So when you get it ready for is there one you were excited to see Bryce do, whether it be the 40, is it the drills? You have anything you're particularly like, well, he's gonna wow him in this one? Is there one that comes to mind?
You know what? I saw that there was that he ran 4.6, something like that out there. And I'm like, you don't go 75 on a Division I field or 80 yards on a Division I field and run 4.6. Like that's an impossibility. So I'm excited to see him I'm excited for people to see him because he's just a smooth athlete.
Yes.
Like he is just a smooth athlete. And I just, he's like this running and jumping stuff. I'm not concerned about that at all. That's what he does. Like he can do that. So I'm not, there's not one thing, but of course the 40 is always going to be the big question out there. So
you mentioned to me off air that he and Cole Payton are rooming together, much like it happened here in Fargo. Describe that of seeing, being back with the Paytons again and the fact that this never happens, that a quarterback's going to be able to throw to his wide receiver, that Cole's going to be able to throw to Bryce on Saturday.
I know that is so awesome. It's also, about the apprehension about getting there and everything's brand new for both of those guys. And I think for both of those guys, for them to room together is like, I don't have to, make conversation with a guy that I don't know. I know this guy, I got to try to learn him and whatever, but he's got his buddy there that he, came in with. So his quarterback. So that's phenomenal. I think it's phenomenal for both of them. And yes, to see, to be able to see the Paytons and see Cole here, it's just going to be, I hope they get a picture together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How jarring was the end? I think everybody around was expecting the Bison to win. There's going to be a long playoff run and a trip to Nashville. Just for you and Angie's parents, just how jarring was that in the stands? Like it's over. It's done.
I think our world was on a tilt for about a week and a half. Oh. Like it was just like, what just happened? Like it was absolutely a gut shot for all the parents. I mean, all of us over there, like, what just happened? Yeah. Like, what's going on here? And you know what? But I've always said this is like, I just remember listening to the broadcast, and we always talk about, we've only lost one game, just something like this here. And I was like, oh God, please stop saying that, because we can't go. I mean, it's just not possible. It's just a mathematical impossibility for us to keep on winning. And to Illinois State's, I'm just glad they made it to the championship game and they had a chance to win it too. So, but yeah, that was an absolute gut shot. Angie and I were just sick for for Bryce and the team and ourselves. And again, when you get used to making that run every year, it's something special and not to be taken for granted.
How blown away were you when you heard the news of the FBS move?
Hey, So I was always stay there because I didn't see a path for us to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And once I saw what JMU did, I was like, oh, let's go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad that, I'm like, wow, that escalated quickly because not only did it happen, but no, it's next year. So the next schedule is, FBS. So it's awesome. I'm so excited for the rest of the country to see, what Bryson football is all about because it's a special place.
All right, so tell me after Indy reps, what's on the docket for you guys to get now between? I know Pro Day is going to come up here in end of March, and then you guys have done this drill before. You're one of the rare families that actually know what the process is like for the next 6-7 weeks.
Well, the boss of the family knows the schedule, so I'm just along for the ride. I just get in the car and drive down. But no, so the pro day is coming up, and she already knew that it was like, oh, it's the last week in March. I was like, I don't know, So it was, what the pro day said. So we'll be up there for the pro day, and then after that, we're just gonna. The one thing that we've done throughout this whole ride is just we don't really plan. We just make sure we're flexible.
Yeah.
And tell people, and we make sure that we're very open to people. Like, hey, if we gotta go, we gotta go. Like, we're just not, we're not gonna miss anything, and we're gonna make sure that we, we're there for both boys and doing what we can. So
I know the last thing, but I really appreciate you doing this. The whirlwind leading up to Trey was so different and unique, and it just blew up over it seemed like a 3-month span, and then bam, he was the number 3 pick. Do you feel like maybe you'll have a different appreciation because it's more traditional, more normal setting for whatever's going to happen with Bryce between now and the end of April?
You know what? We don't have a lot of expectations. It's literally I just want to see him put his best foot forward during the combine, and I think everything will fall from there. Yeah. Again, for us, it's just the same thing. It's we don't make the pick. We don't choose, so it doesn't really what we think or getting all excited about. Some interviews really doesn't do anything for you. I always it's just stay right here. And, we'll see what happens. As long as he puts his best foot forward and he comes out healthy, I feel confident that people will see what I see.
I got a feeling he's gonna wow them as he's done here over the last couple of years. It's great to see you, bud. Safe travels to you and Angie in Indianapolis. We'll talk when I see you in Fargo here next month, okay?
Absolutely. Go Bison.
Good to see you. There he goes. Carlton Lance, obviously Trey and Bryce's dad joining us here. Bryce will be on the field on Saturday. Here's the exact schedule that we have from the NFL. I love that one of the insiders tweeted out the schedule. So for Saturday, the quarterbacks will get on the field at 1 o'clock. The 40-yard dash for the QBs is at 3, which we'll have to watch that for Cole Payton. For the wide receivers, they go at 5 for the 40, and then their drills start at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. So you got anything going on? Here you go. You have TV on WDAY to watch the state hockey championship game. Have the tablet on NFL Network. Be checking out what Bryce Lance is up to. There you go. You got your Saturday night planned, right? What else is going on? Be checking out the NFL Combine. We appreciate Carlton giving us a few minutes there. That was good stuff. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Big second hour planned. Get you ready for the state hockey tournament. We'll visit with Jory Collins. Much more here on a Thursday morning edition of Hot Mike. Back on WDAY Extra after this. The Farmers Union Insurance Rink. That's where the girls' quarterfinals will be live here on WDAY2, coming up in about an hour and 5 minutes to start the day. Ryan McNamara will be on the call of the girls with Chloe Bry. That starts at 11 a.m. For the first 2 games. Take a quick break and then back in the late afternoon to play the last 2 games. You'll see all those games on WDAY2. If you don't have that, you can stream them on WDAY+. Yes, you have to pay for it. Don't email me. I know you will anyway, but we've been doing it for 14 years now, people. So get on board. But that's how you can find the games today. Let's do a couple emails here before we wrap up the first hour. Dom, something I noticed with the Bison women last night was their apparent trouble executing when the clock was running down at the end of quarters. I think losing last night, while being no fun to watch, might not be such a bad thing if you're looking at the big picture. No more pressure with the winning streak, and you realize that, yes, you're a very good team, but if you don't show up ready to play, the Jacks will kick your butt. The Bison have been and are too good to let this ruin their season. Learn from it and move on. Yeah, the end of the first and second quarters was ugly. Literally, they didn't get a shot off at the end of the first quarter, and at the end of the second quarter, I don't know what happened there, and then Carrington launched a three with like 3 seconds to go in the half. It was ugly. They were just totally discombobulated, out of it, however you want to describe it. They were just completely thrown. You heard Avery Coonan say that in the soundbite after the game last night. The Jacks came ready for a battle, and it seemed like the Bison did not. And when that happened, SDSU got up by 20 at one point, won comfortably. So it's back to the drawing board there. And again, they've got to get healthy, got to get ready to go, because UND is what they are, right? UND's had a really, really tough year. And I suspect the Bison will, even if they're at 70%, will likely still win the game. But now it's beyond that. It's like a week from today, it begins. The Summit League tournament has not been kind to the Bison women. 2 of the last 3 years, they've been beaten in the first round, right? And now they're going in for the first time as the 1 seed. There is significant pressure that comes with that. Even in that first game, even if you're playing, if it's Omaha or UND and a teams that you've crushed, they beat Omaha by 50 earlier this year. There's still pressure that comes with that on the floor each time you're down there. And I'll be really intrigued to see how they respond on Saturday and then what happens a week from now when we're down in Sioux Falls. And a reminder, Hot Mike will be there a week from tomorrow. We'll be down at the Premier Center for our show. Looking forward to that. All right, we'll break. We come back. We got to get him out of here, so we'll get him on quick. Sam Goetzinger waiting in the wings. Is he pushing buttons back there? Oh, man. How are we on the air? That's coming up. We start hour 2 after this.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Don Izzo.
Let's take a moment and talk about bunions. The original line read as this: bunions. You may have heard of them. That was my original line.
Hey, thank you, Dom. Johnny Cool Guys there with the sunglasses on.
That was off the dome. To
the west of
when
Illinois.
I'm looking on it, like my west. I shouldn't say right and left. Is that Missouri?
That is Missouri.
Yes.
That
it's
is
underneath
Missouri.
Iowa.
Way to go.
Oh, I'm getting good at this.
He's coming.
So we're going to like the bottom peninsula region.
Peninsula.
Okay, we're going to come back on the ETSU tailgate, and then go to you. How am I going to go from a tailgate to bunions?
Okay, good deal.
Let's take a moment and talk about bunions.
Were you literally directing the show before
Yes,
you
I
came
was.
on?
I was very nervous to do so. I will say I wanted to make sure I hit the right button. Eric gave good directions, but I got nervous right when the moment came.
Is there anything you can't do? You're ready. You're all dressed and ready to go.
Jack
for
of all
play-by-play?
trades.
Yeah.
The Swiss Army knife.
My gosh.
What can I say? There's so many descriptors.
Up the man's salary. He can do it. He's directing. He's doing everything.
It'd be nice. Setting up the booth for the girls' games. You know, we're good to go. We're ready to go.
He's dressed for success because you're on the air in a couple hours out South Fargo.
Right around the corner. Boys hockey tournament coming up at noon.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll get to that here in just a sec and chat out. The girls are starting in an hour on WDAY 2. Let's unpack what we saw last night. And we had a bunch of emails come in. Wanted to ask your thoughts as well. 3,700 people there last night, and I'd say 3,600 of them went home disappointed in what went down at the Shield Center.
I would agree with that. It was just right from the jump.
Yeah.
It was not the Bison team that we've seen over this 23-game win streak that they amassed leading up into that game. You knew it was going to be tough against South Dakota State, regardless of what their injury status was. I know they were missing a couple of players for the rest of the season, but Brooklyn Meyer and Maddie Mathewitz, they're so good. But the Bison came out, it just... right from the hop, it just wasn't their day.
Nope.
And you'll have games like that throughout a season.
How much... I'm not going to put too much credence in the fact that he didn't feel well. I mean, you got to power through and play. And SDSU, didn't matter. I mean, they
don't care
worry
if
about it,
you're-
and they just buried them last night.
Right. I agree. It's one of
obviously they didn't
props
have
to
some
them-
juice though. The
props
Bison
to
did
them
not have that.
for going out and fighting through it. Because if you listen to the post-game press conference, you could hear it on Avery
Absolutely.
Coonan that stuffed up. I think you went and talked to him earlier in the week, and it was more than just one person that was dealing with something. Excuses are excuses. You know, I'm an excuse guy, but I won't bag on that too much. They came out and played. They gave everything that they could with what they were dealing with, and they showed some signs of life in the second half, but they
got it to 6. It was 39-33 when Coonan scored. I'm like, all right, well, maybe here we go. And
just kind of waiting for that something. Flip the switch and don't look back, and that never really came.
No, SDSU made sure it didn't happen because Mathewitz came down and canned a jumper, then hit a 3. I'm like, all right, that's going the other way, and SDSU went and pulled away. Now it gets interesting because SDSU is going. They still have to play South Dakota, but that game's in Brookings. I don't see SDSU losing on Senior Day with Mathewitz and Meyer there. That they're going this way towards Sioux Falls, and knowing if the Bison have to play them again, which they're the two best teams in the league. That is a 10,000 fan advantage that SDSU is going to have in Sioux Falls.
And that's
for that
a game that you got to win.
Yeah,
you got to win.
There's no wiggle room now. I think for those we talked about it, if the Bison had a shot at an at-large bid, that left the arena last night with that loss. I think that's gone now.
And I think if everything works to the way everyone's planning it will, and it's South Dakota State, North Dakota State in the championship, I don't think you see that many uncharacteristic plays from the Bison like we saw yesterday with the passes that were jumped and the turnovers that were committed, especially in the first half.
Right, they had a couple in the fourth quarter. They would just drive in, snip the ball, and SDSU going the other way.
A lot of missed rebounds that they would usually get. Some of them were long rebounds that whoever it was for SDSU just had the jump on the ball. And yes, there were some missed box out and stuff. I don't foresee that happening again if they meet again, but I guess you can't be for sure.
What do we anticipate now Saturday? I mean, Jory is saying, well, we need 48 hours, and hopefully we feel a heck of a lot better with UND coming into town on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. They have the advantage in the game, but they can't overlook UND because if they lose, then it's a share of the
and
conference
it's 2 losses
title.
In a row going to Sioux Falls. That ain't good.
That's not the type of basketball you want to see.
No.
It's one of those games where if you're a Bison fan, you want to see them go out and not play around, and just leave no doubt after the end of 4 quarters.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting now to add a little different. There was already going to be some spice in the building because it's North Dakota State. It's a doubleheader with the men's game to follow. But now there's some added, pressure is not the right word, but hey, the Bison need to play well after what happened last night. It will be really interesting to see how this goes next week in Sioux Falls.
Well,
really
like Avery said after the game, maybe it's good. Maybe it's something they can learn from. We saw it with the football team. It's hard to win that many games in a row.
Correct. And they lost a game where there was no wiggle room.
Right. And then sometimes it's good to feel that a little bit moving into the postseason.
Again, the Bison are 25-3. I have to remind
really
myself
good.
of that. It's a phenomenal year.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what life is a one-bid league. Like they could go to Sioux Falls, be, 26-3, right? Win 2 games there, right, to get to the Summit League Championship. So now you're 28-3. If you lose to the Jacks, 28-4, and the NCAA tournament committee is probably going to say, no thanks.
Right. BIT you go.
Outrageous. Yeah. They'll have a net ranking in the 40s.
Receiving votes in the top 25.
And I don't anticipate them to get an at-large bid, which is asinine to say out loud, but it's probably going to happen.
It's just the reality of what it is in college basketball.
All right, so you are. I don't want to drain the pipes too bad here. Do you have tea ready? What do you have? What do you got for today?
I've been drinking hot water. I've been putting cough drops in it. I got some tea as well.
Cough drops in the water?
Yeah, I don't know why. I started doing that last year, and I just kind of in my head, I'm like, that's a good idea. I don't think it does anything.
I don't think so.
It leaves a very faint taste.
Are you not a tea guy?
Oh, I'm a tea guy.
Hot tea is the way to go.
I just always forget to grab it, and I find cough drops on my person.
I'll bring you some tea tomorrow. Then.
That would be much appreciated.
Help you out on that.
Yeah, I don't have tea on me. I'll just put cough drops in it and watch it melt away in hot water and think that'll work.
Somebody Google that. Eric, Google that for us.
Now I'm curious.
Does it help? Is it hot water?
Yeah, it's hot water.
So putting cough drops in hot water, does that help your throat? We'll find out.
It's a placebo if I had to guess, but it gets me through the day, so it works.
All right. now to the real stuff. You got 4 games today.
Yeah.
State tournament begins at noon. This has been the Central Red River Invitational for the last 3 years. Do we anticipate that again on the boys' side?
I do. And again, it's high school athletics. You can never know. You can never be for sure. But Grand Forks Central this year, especially after their win against Moorhead midway through the season, made the determination that this was one of the better, if not the best, Grand Forks Central team.
It was a heck of a win, overtime win.
Yeah.
You called that game. It was a great game.
It was impressive, and they haven't really slowed down. They had a really good East Region championship against Red River that went into double overtime.
Yep.
Red River has reloaded. They have pretty much almost a brand new forward group from a year ago, and they were in the championship last year, and they're still really good. Goaltending's going to be big. And again, you never know who's going to pop up, whether it's one of these other teams. There are a couple of sleepers in the field as well, but from where I stand right now until I see otherwise today, it's Grand Forks Central and Red Rivers tournament to lose.
Here's the bracket, the scheduled games. Minot United, which is now the co-op of Minot High and Minot North, will face West Fargo Cheyenne. That's the first game.
That'll
Drops
be a
the
good
puck
game.
at noon. Be followed by Red River and Jamestown, roughly 2:30ish today. All these games are on Extra. Central and Bismarck Century will start the evening session at 5:30, and then you've got Legacy and Shanley making its tournament return as a independent, first time for them. And
1989 was the last
over
time.
30 years that they're back at state. So
back when Dean Wilson was the coach.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. Does the West have a chance to make a run here? That traditionally
yes.
the East has dominated this event.
I do think. I think Minot. They're going to have their hands full with West Fargo Cheyenne. They're not a true 4 seed.
They got here by overtime win over Davies.
They did.
Yeah.
They've stumbled a little bit towards the end of the regular season in the region tournament, but Minot back-to-back years over 20 wins, less than 10 losses. They've been really good. They arguably have the best goaltender in the state. I think they have a good chance, and I like Legacy. They've never won a quarterfinal game. This is their 4th state appearance, but man, they got also a really good goaltender and some really good scoring on their top 2 lines.
Okay.
So those are 2 from the West to look out for.
How many years? Is this your 4th year working with Dean?
Yes, it is.
So I did it for about 7 years with Dino, who's the best. When do you notice that he's starting to get tired?
He doesn't run out of gas quicker than I do. He's got a motor on him.
We did a triple overtime game once, and and we still had another game to do, and he was doing great.
I tell you what, once
doing this?
The thing with this quarterfinal Thursdays, and to quote Dean, he calls it's a long car ride. You just got to. He's called me 5 times this week and told it's a long car ride Thursday. Just got to be ready. Dean, I agree. Once it gets to about 3.5, you start getting a little delirious.
Well, so last year, did you have overtime games on day 1?
Not on day 1. Not on day 1. Day 2, we had those back to back to back, 2 double overtime and then an overtime game.
Multiple overtime games.
Yeah. That one was a long day. And I was doing ice side for the first 2 games. I won't do that this year, but once.
Oh, you big time your way out of that?
Especially, well, I did. Yeah, we called in some other folks to help us out on that. Too much walking around for me. You got to save the feet. But yeah, once it gets to about 3.5, and it's the same for basketball too, it starts getting okay. All right, and then 4th game you're tired, and then you get second wins randomly, but. It's a good time. It's fun.
Do you eat during a day like today? Because people
try.
ask me. I typically don't. I have something. I'll graze. I can't have like a big meal because I don't feel I could do it without either indigestion or something happening, and I cannot do that.
I have a problem with burping, so like I get worried about it. So and we've talked about how much we've loved Shields Arena for this hockey tournament, but there's one knock on the place, and that to get up to where we are, you have to climb a ladder.
You need a grappling hook. Basically, to get up there.
So mobility is limited.
Yes.
I'm going to do my best. They got great chicken tenders over there.
Do they?
Yeah. I'm not
familiar with that.
I'm a big pretzel guy, too.
Okay.
I would love to have one of them at some point this week, but we'll see. Eric's got an answer on the cock.
Well, can we do the girls first before we get to that? Let's not do that. The girls tournament starts here at the top of the hour. Those games today are all on WDAY 2. North-South is again the 1 seed. They got beat. Remember, that was the upset last year. The Bismarck Legacy who ended up winning and that's Bismarck and Legacy. It's not Bismarck Legacy, just so.
Well, it's Legacy Bismarck
yeah, Legacy
is the name of the co-op.
Yeah. They won the state championship last year. Is it north-south to lose on the girls' side?
As long as Kenley Fisher is on the ice in the Bruins jersey, she will be my favorite to win the thing.
She's really good.
And the team around her, Jada Purdy's really good. Good goaltending over there. Fargo north-south. They got Chris Doherty back on the bench.
Yeah.
Haley Barvels has taken over first-year official head coach, and she's doing a wonderful job. I think they're the hot ticket item right now. I wouldn't count out Grand Forks either. I think they're a really good team as well.
They've been to the title game a couple times and came up short.
Won one,
they lost to the Bismarck team one year, maybe multiple times to the Blizzard when they were rolling there. So, and the neat part about this for tomorrow, for the first time, the girls' semis will be on WDAY tomorrow. Excited about that. So that starts at noon tomorrow. So if you want your hockey the next 3 days, whether it's on Extra, WDAY2, or WDAY, we got you filled for what's going to be. I love Shields Arena. We talked about it last week. I think we'll have some great pictures of. You'll see some the stands filled up. It's going to be a great atmosphere out there. I think the next 3 days.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun weekend.
All right, Eric, give us the results here of the.
Now I'm curious.
Of the again. Hot water and cough drops together.
Honey cough drops. Let's be specific.
What did the
on
internet tell you?
So according to Dr. Google, which solves everything.
Yes, it does.
Yes, dissolving cough drops in hot water can help soothe a sore throat and calm a cough, acting as a warm medicated drink. The heat from the water helps loosen mucus and reduce throat irritation, while the dissolved cough drop ingredients provide comfort. It is a good alternative for those who find the drops too strong or prefer a warm beverage.
And I do.
You can also add honey to this.
Yes, honey and tea go together. That's what I've done.
I've tried that. I've sucked at putting it together. So wait a minute. It does not taste good.
The honey water cough drop combo? Because that sounds horrid.
I have done that. It's honey cough drops.
I mean,
it must have been the honey I was using, but it did not taste good. It didn't mix well.
Matt's ready to pass out next to Eric back there after hearing that. That sounds horrible. So
I was right about my cough drops in the hot water.
Before.
I was right
I've
about
done
it.
one or the other, but not both.
Nope.
Alternatives: if you do not have cough drops, gargling with warm salt water.
Done that.
I haven't done that.
Really?
No, I haven't done that.
Throat inflammation.
What did you say on the end there? For the gargling?
Reduce throat inflammation.
Yeah. That I've always done that.
I haven't done that.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
And adding honey helps with vitamin C and
well, there you go. So maybe not this week because we're early in this, but maybe next week or 2 weeks from now.
Especially when we get to the Boys B. I have lost my voice at the Boys B before, and I don't want that to happen again.
No.
So maybe then.
Yeah. I had a stretch where I had to do. Remember Stacy telling me, "Hey, you got to do them all." Like, what do you mean I got to do them all? Like, all 4 tournaments because we had nobody else to do.
Yep.
So, like, oh, man. And I was still anchoring the news every night, too. So, like, this is... I need my voice.
Right.
So by the time we got to the Boys Beach, the third place game, I was about as monotone as I've ever been. Right? There's a basket for 2.
Yeah.
And I remember the late, great Dave Ryan, who passed away about 6 years ago. I remember he got in my ear. He goes, "Are you all right?" Because, I wasn't, he noticed I wasn't he did audio for me. He was an old producer of this show, so he knew exactly how loud I was. I'm like, I'm trying to save it. I got one more game, and then I let it rip for the last one, and I was done.
Yeah, 2 years ago, championship for the B. I tried to give it everything I had, and it was a battle, and hopefully we're good. The hockey one takes a lot out of my voice.
It does.
Because
I yell. A lot of talking,
I'm a loud guy, so.
And hockey, you constantly are talking.
There's always something happening.
Something happening, you just cannot stop. So with that, I will make sure I save your voice and no more talking here.
Okay.
Have a great call the next 3 days.
Thank you.
We look forward to watching it, and thanks for stopping by and have a great call today.
Absolutely.
Say hi to Dino for me, okay?
I will.
I miss that guy. Sam Goetzinger joining us each and every Thursday. He's heading to Shields Arena State, so don't get on him. He's on his way. We'll take a break. Got some emails to get to. Jory Collins coming up here in about 15 minutes. Live look inside Shields Arena. Quiet now. Won't be in about an hour and a half. We're back after this. Good stuff there with Sam. Welcome back, everybody. Jory Collins joined us in about 10 minutes' time. Let's do here update from our guy Mike McFeely. posting a story on Inforum just now. Sources telling him the Brooklyn Nets could be calling up former Bison, Alabama star, Devils Lake native Grant Nelson to the NBA. Sources telling Mike that it could happen as soon as today or tomorrow. Brooklyn plays the Spurs tonight. San Antonio, I believe, has won 9 in a row. Spurs are the hottest team going. You saw when we had the updated NBA standings yesterday on the show. I mean, they're right on the heels of OKC. And then the Nets play at Boston on Friday. Brooklyn is 15-42. That's next to last in the East. But Grant doesn't care. Grant, we showed it earlier this winter of the year he's been having in the G League for the Long Island team. He's been great since coming back from a knee injury in early January. So we will keep our eyes peeled for that could be something really interesting. And North Dakota could have another NBA guy. He's just had a meteoric rise. Just remember this time 3 years ago, we were getting ready to go to Sioux Falls, and the Bison were, I think, the 3 seed heading down there, and they had the crazy win to beat South Dakota in the first round, where Javis Miller had the big block at the rim to preserve a win, and then Grant had the 2020 game against South Dakota State at the Premier Center in front of 9,000 Jack fans. That was a unbelievable game, and then obviously it all came crashing to an end when they played Oral Roberts in the title game. ORU was unbeaten that year, but that was the last we saw of them. After that, it was off to the NBA Combine, the portal, and then Alabama for the next 2 years. So we'll see. We had Grant on last summer, I want to say, when getting ready for the NBA draft, and now potentially might be getting that NBA call in the not-too-distant future. Good stuff there. I saw this as well as get a little tease here ahead for end of the show with what to watch. Buster Olney from ESPN, baseball writer, writing about the top 10 center fielders. And obviously Byron Buxton's name came up with this. And this is really a long dissertation. I can't read the whole thing on Buxton because his name is not among the top 10. Let's just read it about as best we can. The Twins have slashed their payroll by about 35% over the past 3 years, down to $106 million after unloading a small army of players at the trade deadline in 2025 en route to a 92-loss season. Tom Pohlad has now become the controlling owner of the Twins and recently delivered the organization's new messaging. He wants to win this year. Obviously, I don't foresee that coming. I don't think many of us do, especially after Pablo Lopez is done for the season. As with all new owners, there seems to be a learning curve in effect for Pohlad. As this past offseason began, industry members expected Minnesota to continue last summer's teardown and deal Joe Ryan and perhaps Buxton following the deep budget cuts. But earlier the winter, the team effectively pulled Ryan out of trade consideration around the incongruent thought that it aimed to contend this year. Then, mere weeks away from the start of spring training, Derek Falvey, the head of baseball operations for Minnesota, departed the organization over philosophical differences. I mean, it's not good. Typically, a franchise going through this steep transition would trade a player like Buxton, who is owed about $50 million over the next 3 years. But Buxton has a no-trade clause, and what he has heard from Pohlad is that the Twins are going to try to win. If Buxton remains, he's likely to go through the best part of his career watching others compete in October. But minds can be changed, Olney writes. If the roster reality manifests this summer, ahead of what might be a costly labor situation when the current CBA expires in the winter, Pohlad could try to move Buxton's contract, and Buxton could reverse course, ask to be moved to a contender, and waive his no-trade clause. He has noted that while he says he wants to stay, the people in power within the Twins haven't flatly and loudly said that Buxton won't be dealt. Says until this happens, Buxton will continue to drift in an uncertain future as one of MLB's best center fielders and not included in the top 10. Julio Rodriguez is number 1. Pete Crow Armstrong left PCA. Why can't the Mets get guys like him? Dalton Varsho from the Blue Jays. Jackson Merrill. Trent Grisham. Michael Harris II. He's really good with Atlanta. Luis Robert, who's now a Met. Andy Pajes from the Dodgers have in there. I believe we're going to have Corey Provis back with us on Fridays this year and I don't know how we're going to navigate this throughout. I anticipate a really, really tough season. It incongruent is the best way to describe what this baseball team has in front of them, because they just what have they done to make us think that they are going to win? I mean, they added Josh Bell. They added in the offseason. We're happy for you. They've done nothing to believe that they're going to be better. And then Lopez gets hurt, which happens. Baseball players get hurt all the time in spring training, and typically it's season-ending injuries. But what makes you think that they are going to reasonably win more games than they did last year? They won 70 last year. If you lose 92, you play 162. That means they won 70. That is bad. Baseball, 1/3 of the time you're going to win, and 1/3 of the time you're going to lose. It's that other third that determines if you're going to be a playoff team or not. And the Twins in that 1/3, I mean, I'd set the under-over really at 65, and I'd be hitting the under right now, and that's bad. I don't know. If I'm Byron Buxton, I'm asking, am I going to waste the best part? He had a great year last year. Was healthy, was really good. Was an all-star last year. To waste another year knowing that this isn't happening, right? I mean, if we're banking on Luke Keyshaw, who had a great run and then he got hurt, and we think Royce Lewis hopefully can figure it out because he was not good in 2025. Just a lot of question marks for the team at Target Field. And they got a great ballpark going to waste as well, because it's a great place to go watch a game, and I don't know how many people are going to go there this summer either, because it just does not sound good. We'll see. Spring training games are underway. We only got a month to go before opening day. The Twins, I believe, open with the Orioles to start 2026. Let's break. We come back. We'll visit with Jory Collins after last night's defeat. Will the Bison go from here after falling to South Dakota State with the regular season finale on tap for Saturday? That's coming up when we come back. Final half hour here on this Thursday morning. Big show tomorrow. We'll recap day one of state hockey. Lots to get to tomorrow to get ready for the weekend. 10:35 here on a Thursday. Get a chance to visit with Bison women's basketball coach Jory Collins. Fresh off of last night's South Dakota State victory over North Dakota State. We played some of your comments from last night on the post-game press conference. Just now, the sun came up, but I'm sure it's still a bitter taste. Just give me your thoughts here after what went down last night.
Yeah, I mean, just really frustrated with how we played. I mean, I don't think there's any way to sugarcoat it, Dom. I mean, to have that environment and such a great home crowd, and then, to really kind of lay an egg is a tough one to swallow. Obviously wanted to perform really well in that environment, and just didn't give our home crowd really anything to get up and get behind. Our offensive, the way we played on offense was unlike anything I've seen all year long out of our team. And so they had more sense of urgency. They played with more physicality than we did. I would say that's probably the vice versa how it was when we played at their place. Yeah. And, they returned the favor. And we just weren't able to execute anything with any timing, with any details that we talked about last night.
Jory, what did you say? How did you address the team in the locker room after the game?
Well, I mean, I just told them, I wasn't even that mad about the game, because I was like, I'm not really upset. I just don't recognize who we were out there. It wasn't typical at all of some individuals and how they played, of how they've been playing and what we've been doing, and just some, different things going on out there that we haven't seen before. So, obviously disappointed we didn't take care of that. Obviously, we got another big one coming up, so it's not something that you're going to sit on for very long. We'll watch and get ready. There's a chance we're going to play these guys again, potentially next week. So there's lots to learn from the game, where we can be better. And we did do some good things, but there's plenty more that we got to get better from it.
How much is today, would you want to be right back on the floor? I know you mentioned afterwards that people got to get healthy. Is that something, okay, we're going to stick away from the court, or have you even decided that yet?
Yeah, I don't even know if we've really decided that yet. I mean, we had multiple people battling sickness all week and didn't even have shoot around. Didn't make it to shoot around yesterday, and just trying to play through it. And we had some kids play really tough for the situation they were in. That's unfortunate, and no excuse whatsoever. I know we've played multiple teams this year that probably have kids not feeling well too. But again, we got to find the balance of using the last night's game to get better. And then obviously getting prepared for a big one on Saturday.
Just real quick here on the atmosphere, walking out when you saw the amount of people, what did that mean? Do you see what that was like? And frankly, hopefully that's the case again Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Just sitting there when the ball was about to be tipped and being able to look around a little bit and see, that many people and see the excitement on their face. And I mean, it was awesome. Great environment. Again, just I feel so bad like we let them down. Like, I know they wanted to erupt and go crazy, and we didn't give them anything to do that with. And so, that's on us. We haven't been that way all year, and I don't expect us to be that way very often. So if we can get them all back Saturday, I think we'll play a little bit better.
Well, I'm not trying to put green and gold colored glasses on here, but you lost for the first time since November. I mean, we got to have some perspective on this as well, that you had an unreal streak going here that just got snapped last night.
Yeah, that's true, and that's obviously was a great thing. But you know me, Dom, from a coaching lens.
I know.
We don't even really talk about wins and losses. We talk about playing up to our potential. And if our potential is good enough to win games, then you win a bunch in a row. And if it's not, then, there's things that we got to talk about to make sure we are playing up to our potential. And we talked all year long about being on time. This group was ready, like in that, in some games I knew in shoot around that we were going to win. I could tell by the way. And to be honest with you, yesterday I wasn't 100% sure. What we were going to look like when the game tipped, due to some various things, and that kind of bared out there of us not being totally ready, like we have been all year long.
Saw Carrington Asco right at Brooklyn Meyer, which I thought was impressive. You describe how Carrington played last night, going head to head with one of the best in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie was a bright spot for sure. She only got to play, I think, like 7 minutes. Last time we played, she was in pretty severe foul trouble early in the game, and we were going with defense late. And so she was excited to play in this game. I don't know what she got last night, 23 minutes, so that's great. Was efficient from the field, 5 for 9. Carrington's not scared of anybody. She knows she's a good player. She wants to be a great player. Obviously she's got a really bright future and going to be a huge factor for us down the stretch and into the future.
Now, I asked you this last night, just the fact to flush this and play right away, good thing that, hey, we got basically 36 hours. We're back out there now with a chance to do the same thing we had a chance to do last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think our players, again, we got some people that need to get rested up here. I'm actually glad it was Wednesday, Saturday, and not Thursday. Saturday this week, just so we do have a chance here to catch our breath a little bit. But there's no question, we'll be obviously excited about Saturday's game and obviously looking forward to sharing the court with the guys right after us and having a great, Bison Day in the shack. But I'll be ready to play again as fast as possible. I can tell you that.
Now, obviously knowing what's ahead a week from now, you're going to be the number 1 seed. So how does that also does that change preparation-wise, because you don't know who you're playing yet as the number 1 seed next week?
Yeah, not really. I mean, what it does for you is just being able to plan. You know what day you're playing, what time you're playing, where you need practices and those kind of things. So you have a chance to put your weekend plan together knowing where you're at, which is nice this far in advance. But, I mean, we're getting ready to play UND on Saturday. We just played them, 2 weeks ago or less. And obviously the way the standings are now, there's a potential we could play them again on Thursday. That's a lot of playing the same team a couple weeks in a row, which is always interesting, the way people make adjustments and change and do stuff. So, I mean, it'll be interesting here the next week.
Describe here of the chant. I was visiting with Abby Graham, and I know I talked to you about her as well, as a senior on your team, of her coming here, highly recruited player out of Oregon, highly touted high school player out of Oregon, how her career has gone as she gets ready for senior day on Saturday.
Well, AG has grown tremendously, Dom, on and off the floor. She came in really as an offensive guy and struggled defensively earlier in her career and got herself to a point where she's become really good in our system defensively for the most part. Always been a great shooter. The thing about AG is our team, when she got here, has continued to get better and better. She's been a big part of that, but also found herself in positions where she's playing, some different roles. And some years it's been more, some years it's been less. I think she's handled that great. I think she's maximizing her time here this year as a senior. She's one of the ones that been severely under the weather the last 4 or 5 days. And, it showed last night just with the energy that she had just from being sick was tough. But AG has been a huge personality on our team. Something that we've needed, kind of a dominating personality that you need in a locker room that's full of really nice kids and sweethearts. You throw AG in there, who tell it like it is. Yeah. You got to have a good mix of personalities. And AG has definitely brought some personality to our team and obviously helped us, she came in, we won 18 her freshman year, and then 22, 21. Now we're up to whatever we are, 25, 26, 27. I don't know what our record is, but she's been a big part of that the entire time, and I'm so proud of her for seeing it through.
How about for that you mentioned you need players like that to come in and say, hey, this isn't good enough. How valuable is that, what we don't see on the court?
Well, it's huge. AG is as competitive as anybody on our team, and she's one of the players that gets pissed in practice if you're not doing the drill right or if you don't know where you're running next. And we'll let you know about it. And that's, being another coach, sometimes we don't have to say as much, especially when new players come in and, she's been around now, 4th year, she knows what we're doing. Always been a tremendous energy practice player. Been great in the weight room. Great example, for young players too, on how to go about your business.
I got an email here that, viewer wanted me to read this to you on the air. Dom, I hope you have Jory on your show this morning. If so, please just tell him thank you from all the lifelong Bison fans. Regardless of the outcome, for the first time in many years, he's restored hope for our beloved program. Last night, walking in and seeing that crowd almost made me emotional. That was what those girls deserve, and I hope all Bison fans show up Saturday and watch them cut the nets down. I also found Mr. Dinger from Northwestern Mutual, introduced myself, and thanked him. When I asked him why he keeps doing this, he simply said Jory's one of the best guys he knows and one of his best friends, that Jory and the team deserve it. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, Dom. That's going to make me emotional. Gosh. That's, and that's why I get so upset that we didn't play any better than we did last night.
I hear you.
It just we have a tremendous group of young ladies, and how we played last night is zero reflection on who they are and how we've been all year long. It's just tough to do it in that setting.
Yeah.
But we're going to bounce back, and hopefully we can keep people fired up about, what we're doing this year and beyond, because we're going to return a really, really good team next year too. Another year of maturity. And hopefully this has become kind of a new floor for us.
Yeah.
Of being a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, maybe a little bit more dominating throughout a season than we have been. And I feel like we have the opportunity to do that going forward.
Well, and that to your point before we let you go here, that there's expectations now where, frankly, when you got here, there wasn't. And I know this is what you expected to be at. And I know that's not going to make you feel or anybody else feel better from last night, but there were outward expectations that, hey, this could happen. That's what happens when you have a win streak or you're having the kind of season that you're having this year.
Yeah, and we tell our kids there all the time, if you don't have expectations or you don't feel a little pressure to do well, then you're not probably doing anything worthwhile.
Right.
And so it's hard. It's hard to be great. It's hard to win a championship. There's so many things that go into it. But that's where we've gotten the foundation of our program to, is that those are what the expectations are. That's what the talent level can play to. And so we're going to hold ourselves accountable to being that level.
Before we go, and I don't know if you're in a mood to laugh, but last week we talked about the pink coat. You wore it. You got the pink coat. I had people come up to me and say, Jory's wearing the pink coat. How did that come about?
I went in to get a tie that morning. We talked that morning, and you encouraged it, and I actually went in for a tie, and then there was this, it was pink with window pane with some green in it.
It was
and
sharp, man.
I saw it, and my guy Dalton was like, let's try it on, and then I was like, all right, we got to do it. So I got a lot of compliments on it.
Yeah, man, it looked good.
So it was, I got that in the closet.
Look good, play good, right? That's the deal.
Right.
So thanks for the time as always, bud. We'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, thanks, Dom.
Jory Collins joins us here after the Bison lost last night to South Dakota State. Again, Bison still have a chance to clinch the overall championship by themselves with a victory against North Dakota on Saturday. You'll see that game at 1 o'clock. Again, that was a completely unsolicited email I got from earlier in the show asking to read that to Jory on. I thought that was well-timed email. Again, not trying to have green and gold colored glasses on here. They didn't play well. South Dakota State dominated the game. What does that portend going forward? I don't know. I know this. The Jackrabbits seem confident going wise, and they're going to have a home game for that Summit League tournament. Can the Bison respond? That's the question to find out. They've had a great year. You hate to see it be thrown away with a bad performance that they had last night against SDSU. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll get you ready. We've got a great Sports Thursday on tap as the state hockey tournament about to drop the puck. We'll give you all the info on that when Hot Mike Raps on WDAY Extra. Right after this. All right, wrapping things up here. You're looking live inside Shields Arena. In about an hour or so, it'll be hopping. The North Dakota State Hockey Tournament, the boys' side begins there. The Farmers Union rink. The ZAM is out. The clock is counting down as we're getting close to the girls' quarterfinals beginning. Top of the hour, those games on WDAY2. Everything you can stream today will be on WDAY+. You can have tablet on the boys, television on the girls, phone on the boys, tablet on the girls, however you want to make it work. You can do that today, and we'll have coverage of that. Highlights of all the games coming up later tonight. We got a bunch of things happening. More trips to state for Minnesota hockey. It is region championship night. You're seeing all the games on our ticker. We're going to find out half the field for the Class A and Class B girls basketball tournaments, which begin a week from now in Minot and Jamestown, respectively. We will know half of them because the winners of the region championship games automatically qualify. But whoever wins the third place game and who loses the region championship, they go to the state qualifier games, which come up on Saturday in Mayville and Bismarck. So we'll give you the full lowdown on that coming up on the show tomorrow. It is award season in basketball. The NSIC has put out its all-league teams. Congratulations to Bismarck's Bergen Kinnebrew, great player for Rick Newman and University of Mary. She was named the North Division Player of the Year for the Marauders. Second in scoring at 21 points per game. She's been a great player. Unfortunately, I immediately look at these lists. I'm like, okay, who could be Division I caliber out of this? The Dragons got 2 on the second team. Congratulations. We featured her earlier in Taryn Johnson of the big basket last night for MSUM. Ashton Safransky as well. Also a second-team selection, former Bison. Taryn Hamling out at Minot State was a second-team pick in the NSIC. On the men's side, how about Anthony Walters? Was a North Division Player of the Year at the University of Jamestown. If you watch that UJ Bison game, go back. He was phenomenal in that game. Averaged 20 points per game. That's a guy I look at and like, he can go play Division I next year. He was the North Division Player of the Year out of Jamestown. Again, remember, they're ineligible. They would have been in the NSIC tournament had they been eligible. Issa El-Amin from MSUM was a second-team selection for Jason Kemp and the Dragons, and we gave the Dragons some love to start the show. They won last night at Northern to move on to Sioux Falls. Real quick text message comes in on our Twins conversation. Twins are hoping that fans will cover the concessions, beer and hot dog specials. We can go to Newman Outdoor Field for that and save 500 miles. That is true. I mean, there's some pretty good food there, but at Target Field, but Baseball-wise, not so great right now. All right, let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. What to Watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. Again, here's our lineup for hockey today. Starts at the top of the hour, 11 a.m. on WDAY 2. If you're looking for the girls' quarterfinals, that's where they'll be exclusively today. The boys will be right here on Extra following our newscast coming up at the top of the hour of all 4 games. Ryan McNamara will have the call of the girls' games. Sam will be on the boys. And then tomorrow, we'll give you all the details on that. Everything moves over to WDAY and the main rink at Shields Arena for the girls' semis with the boys to follow. So, great day of hockey on tap here. We're going to see who's moving on to Friday and the Final Four coming up here in just a little bit. Also going on today, the Wild are back after the Olympic break. They've got Colorado. No easing into that. 8 o'clock tonight on FanDuel Sports North for that one. Hey, the Twins are playing against the Pirates on MLB TV today at noon. And we got the Wolves on Amazon Prime tonight. See if they can make it 2 in a row against the Clippers. That's coming up at 9. Our thanks to Jon Ammerman, to Carlton Lance, to Sam, of course, to Jory Collins. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Enjoy a big day of hockey. We'll recap it all tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday. See you tomorrow.